like Michigan State also spotted Maryland 11-0 coming out,
True.
and they pretty much played them even from that point on.
Yeah. Oh.
And they actually brought the game down like 5 or 6, and then Maryland made a big play. So it's going to be interesting to see the start coming out.
Seems like Michigan State's a team that'll just do that once a game, and maybe they just started that game out with it. Like they'll just drop 10 in a row, like just give up, spot their team 10 in a row, like whenever. I don't know what it is. They'll just run some bullshit on offense and try and go one-on-one, and then it's like, oh, there's 5 missed threes in a row.
Yeah. They couldn't get within like 20 feet for like the first 3 minutes of the game. And you saw like contested off of no rhythm threes from like 30 feet. It was just really, really bad. But then they adjusted, they calmed down. It was at Maryland, and that was, like Quinn said, like, you know, that was their fourth game in like a week. So
yeah.
I'm not gonna put too much in that game, but I am gonna look at the matchups. I honestly don't think the matchups are as bad as it seems, because Dante Scott on the inside is like 6'7", is like a diet version of Deshaun Sims, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's no disrespect to him, but no, he's a diet version of him. So
he's only a sophomore.
So like once you get past Dante Scott, like who are you gonna put in? The dude, the transfer from I think Alabama, or Chol Marial, who didn't even get in that last game. So I think Michigan State will be prepared, because Maryland was prepared, because Michigan State just came off of 2.5 games of showing that four small lineup, right? Because half of Indiana game, when they were losing, everyone thought that was it, that was over. Then they beat Illinois and Ohio State back to back. Then Maryland has now got that on tape, so they were prepared for it, and they had a few days to prepare as well. I think they had like 6 days to really prepare for that lineup, and they probably watched the games together, and so like they knew all the tendencies of that lineup as well, and that's probably a big reason why they jumped out to 11-0.
Looking on that same side of the bracket, I feel like Purdue and Ohio State are set up to just take that side, one or the other. Whoever wins that game, beat Michigan or whoever in that spot, go to the championship. I don't know if they got a chance, because it looks like Illinois is going to kind of just go through, and they want to look like they maintain their momentum and get that number 1 seed. But I don't know. Purdue's looking pretty good. They seem very equal to me.
They have beaten Ohio State twice already. And you know the whole rule, like it's hard to beat a team 3 times.
Right. No, it isn't.
Yeah. But like I see it as like, if you beat a team twice, that just means that you know their weaknesses and all that stuff. And that team has to try something totally different. And if it works, it works. It doesn't, you lose again. So
speaking of playing a team 3 times, is it me, or is it like oddly underwhelming the potential of a third Michigan State game?
I was annoyed
like
when I saw it on the bracket.
Right?
Like,
there's just like no juice. There's no like.
It was weird this year, man.
Yeah, right.
And I think it's because all this Illinois energy kind of like dampen things. I'm
done.
I'm serious. Illinois, this whole thing has just dampened. Literally, Michigan and Michigan State have been like boxing with these dudes on the same side for like the last 3-4 weeks. And yes, it's a rivalry. You hate to lose, but that extra juice that comes with that game, I just didn't feel it. I
don't know if it's the fans. I don't know if it's the fact that like no one's saying anything on either side, but like it just seems so like dormant.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember playing, like Ohio State my freshman year specifically, and like people are trying to explain to you the rivalry with Ohio State and Michigan State, and I'm like, they kicked our ass. Like, what are you talking about? There's nothing. This isn't exciting. Like, you guys just are sad. You have your inferiority complex you're dealing with. This is not. There's no juice here for any side, for the players at least. That seems like that.
Even the Ohio State game with Michigan had more
Had more
And,
juice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
had more
juice.
heat than
Yeah.
the last two Michigan State games. And maybe it's because Michigan State was perceived to be so far down,
I
right?
think
And
that is,
it
honestly.
wasn't kind
The,
of at the level.
the teams haven't been able to talk junk this year, like
Yeah.
at any point, really.
Yeah.
There was some towards the beginning of the year when Michigan State was a top 5 team. And then there was some back and forth because people thought Michigan was underrated, not being higher in the rankings and all that stuff. Then there was the Oakland game that people had to troll about. So we had to fight back about that. So I just think the back and forth banter really kind of got killed off there in like January or so. And then the Illinois stuff came out, and then we had that back and forth banter, but it wasn't with each other. It was with the whole two fan base who
Mhm.
just came out of nowhere, calling
I
Maddie Sissoko a thug. And then you had big,
yeah.
it wasn't like these little trolls with like 10 followers, but it's like these accounts who have some type of influence over their community. And I found that part the most odd. I'm like, okay, bro, you have 11, 12, you got 3 or 4K. Like, what are you doing? And like, you're saying these things. And so people are like, yeah, you're right. He's a thug. F that guy. Suspend him and all that stuff, man. So it got ugly, and it got ugly really, really quick.
That dude, the dude who made that thug comment, who has like that very generic, like, I like write for, like, I've done TV work or
Yeah.
like write for a newspaper picture, that guy
Yeah.
who said the thug thing, he like jumped in it last night on that that tweet that I made, and I wrote and deleted like 7 responses.
Yeah.
and
I've been
didn't
there.
do it. Didn't do it. And just back, like, it was like I put the phone down and like I put both my hands on my lap and just took a breath and didn't go there. But on the Michigan State thing, so I was sitting like baseline at Chrysler for the second game, right? So game ends, confetti comes down, Michigan's running all over the court, right? Like Livers is like waving at the players, but like in a nice way, it's not like
F you.
it's not like the bye-bye wave or anything as they walked off. And I'm sitting there, and you guys know how the tunnel is, right? So like I can see straight across the court into the tunnel that goes out right by the visitors' locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So Michigan State players are coming out, and it's still while like the Michigan players are going through their Big Ten party and starting senior day stuff. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, this will be great. I'm gonna see something. Somebody's gonna come out and look and get pissed off or something like that, and it'll be a great, scene for a story for the next game. And I'm looking, and everyone's just out there like getting sandwiches, getting ready to like walk out the tunnel to get on the bus to go back to Lansing. Like it just didn't seem like they weren't like out there like kicking over water coolers and shit and like getting all pissed off that this party was happening 10 feet away. Where it's like a couple of years ago, I feel like it would have been that way. Certainly back when I just got here, like the Stauskas year when everything was just everyone hated everyone. It was awesome. It was the way certainly what you want to be writing about from my perspective.
True. I think it's
what? Go ahead.
I mean, I think it's also something that like we kind of forget is that I think these kids or some of these guys have got to be mentally burned out.
Good point.
Like there is, it's just basketball. You don't get to mingle with, like one of the coolest things was chilling with people who weren't in sports. Like I thought that was one of the cooler things. Or after a game, I go to B-dubs and like chill with fans or something. I thought that was awesome. And they don't have any, they don't have an outlet right now. They're like, I'm not going to say they're in jail because no, but they are in a box right now. And this is a very fragile time because if you do get COVID, like you risk your whole team not going to the NCAA tournament. So I think a lot of these guys are a little bit burnt out and not over it. I'm not gonna say that they're overplaying, but I think that they've been doing the same exact thing for months and months and months. And I think they're just ready to just have a woo-saw and in some type of other way to spend their energy. You know what I
And
mean?
with zero outlet, like there's no place to go. Like can't even really go see family.
You can't go to the club. You can't really invite that many people over.
No.
Like, if you have a girl, you better hope that she's another athlete because you know she's getting tested. You know what I mean? So, those are the important things.
This
And
reminds me of Ant's senior year when, Evan Turner hit the shot over my outstretched pale arms, and people, like they like felt so much pain from him hitting the shot because we were going to beat them, obviously, and like got so close, and we had to like win the Big Ten tournament, I think, to even get to the tournament that year because we were so bad. But people are like, man, that must have been so painful, and like you guys are so close. I'm like, not really. Like I was so ready for it to be done. Like he put us out of our misery. Like there's no way we were going to win the Big Ten tournament. Like just end us while we're on the ground. Like just